Is our internet messed up? Welcome to the PBIOS podcast, this PBIOS live podcast booth. Today is the last day of the Permian Basin Oil Show in Odessa, Texas, Ector County Coliseum. We're in the podcast booth that is sponsored by TD Williamson, and they were gracious enough to allow us to have this room. And also the set furnishing was provided by Second Story Co-working, and we appreciate them being here too. Today, I'm Scott Emerson, and our guest is Haley and Will Kizer, and the title of today's podcast is Second Amendment Lesson Learned. And what that means is that Haley got in a little trouble in the airport. And so, Haley, tell me what happened.
So we were flying home to go visit some family out of Lubbock, and me and my husband, we were running behind, and I was in the early months of my pregnancy with my son, and I had terrible brain fog the whole pregnancy, and so we were running behind. They had rescheduled our flight a couple times. So we were like, okay, we have time. Well, then they pushed it back forward again. And I was like, oh no, we gotta hurry up and get to the airport. So we were hauling butt to the airport, and we got out of the car, got all of our stuff. And I asked my husband, I said, you don't have a pocket knife on you. You don't have anything on you, right? And he goes, yeah, we're good. And so we hurry up into the airport, and we're trying to catch a flight. So we put all of our stuff through TSA, and the TSA agent pulls my purse aside. And I'm like, what is in my purse? Like, what is going on? Why did they pull it aside? And he looks at me, he goes, what do you have in there? And I said, medicine, maybe, I don't know. And then the TSA agent looks at me, he goes, do you have any guns or knives in your purse? And I said, no. Why would I have that? I'm at the airport, not even thinking. And the TSA agent asked me again, he goes, are you sure you don't have any guns or knives in your purse? And I was like, okay, there's definitely something in my purse that's not supposed to be. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, no. And then it clicks mid-sentence. I go, shit, yes, I do. Yep. I said, there is a loaded gun in the back I have a concealed carry pocket, and there is a loaded firearm in my purse. And he looks at me, and he just starts shaking his head right away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I forgot it was in there. I said, but I definitely forgot it was in there. And so after that, my heart sank, because I was like, I'm going to jail.
So
no doubt.
Is that what happened? Did they take you to jail?
No, they didn't take me to jail. Thankfully, they pulled me to the side. They searched me again, made sure I didn't have anything on me. And then they took the firearm out of my purse, and they unloaded everything, and they basically documented everything. They took pictures of they had to go print my flight, my little flight ticket thing.
Boarding pass?
Yeah. They went and printed my boarding pass, and then they took a picture of my driver's license. They took down all my information. They took pictures of the gun, the bullets, everything. And the whole time I'm sitting there, and I'm just sweating I think the officer that was at the airport, he's looking at me like, oh my God, this poor girl, because he could see it all over my face. I was like, oh, and he looks at me, he goes, and he's just like, you're going to be okay. And I was like, okay, if you say so, but I don't feel okay right now.
So Will, while this was going on, what were you thinking, sir?
I was really hoping I wouldn't have to find some bail money to get her out. And I was really waiting to see if we got to walk out of there, how soon I could play oh my gosh, I forgot. I can't believe you forgot that was in your purse before we went through TSA.
So you've had some ammo of your own since this happened.
Yes, I haven't let her live it down for sure.
I think it's funny she asked you if you had emptied your pockets, and then so.
Yes. A very expensive one if it was a vacation. I do. I give it to her all the time.
Well, you know how husbands are. You need to carry. You need to carry it loaded. You need to be ready. and then something like this happens. So I know that you've had to write a paper.
Yes.
You probably had to take a couple of classes on gun safety and stuff. So why are you here telling us about this today?
Because this is part of they sent me to, instead of having to deal with the district attorney, they sent me to the Office of Dispute Resolutions in Lubbock, and they are the ones who have reached out to me, and basically I had to do a mediation meeting with them, and he had to be there with me because he was my support person. So we had to do a mediation meeting, and asked me about what happened. The guy, basically gave the guy a whole background of everything that happened, and they were like, okay, you have to do these 3 things in order for us to basically, once I had to do a gun safety course, and I had to graduate, basically graduate and get a certificate from it, and then I had to write a paper on what happened, what I learned from the gun safety course, and how other people can learn from my mistake. And then I have to do a public presentation in front of a group of my choosing on what happened, what I learned from it, and how others can learn from it.
Okay, so let's get your regulations, what you have to do done. What have you learned from this?
Well, first and foremost, don't carry a gun to the airport through TSA.
Probably a very good idea.
I learned that the minute it happened.
That's a lesson you probably won't soon forget.
Yes, sir, definitely. And so I have also learned a lot about with the gun safety course. Like I said, I'm newer to firearms since I've been with my husband. So in the past 5 years, he's really gotten me kind of more familiarized with them. But I do feel like taking the gun safety course has furthered my knowledge on gun safety and firearm safety. I've learned all different sorts of firearms, different sorts of, all the different lingo that that I'm not aware of, so I learned
what Will and I grew up with.
Yeah,
and now
he's so familiar with. Even like when he talks about certain things, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what in the world are you talking about.
Yes. I understand that. I do.
Yes.
So what would you like? What can you tell other people? How can you teach them by making this public, but what would you like to say to someone that is on their way to the airport right now?
Before you get through TSA, double check your bag. Even if you think there's nothing in there, just double check it. And with the gun safety course, I do plan to get my license to carry as well. So that way, not that this is going to happen in the future, but when you're licensed to carry, I feel there are less questions presented to you because you do have that license to carry. I feel you're like more of a trusted person when you're carrying.
So if you had been licensed and carrying a license, it would have been a different outcome, you think?
I think so, because that was one of the first questions that the TSA agents had asked me, was if I had my license to carry. So I think if I had my license to carry, I think it probably would have been a little bit of a different situation. So well, because they think, I feel like it's probably a common occurrence with us being in Texas that, a lot of people in Texas carry. So
well, and since we went to constitutional carry, a lot less people are getting their concealed carry.
Yes.
And so maybe this is another reason that we should get a concealed carry.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a push. It's a push towards people to get a license to carry because, like I said, you are a more trusted person, so there's usually less follow up behind that.
Well, yeah, there's a big background check on that, so they would know.
Yes, but, definitely.
So pregnancy causes brain fog. I learned that. That's something I didn't ever think about. Oh, well, I'm just telling you. And so she was of course pregnant when this happened, and the result turned out to be great. That's a beautiful little baby there in Will's lap, and very well behaved, I might add. He barely made a peep the whole time. So. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure you can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Locked case, yeah, all that. But a concealed carry purse is not one of them, right?
Yes, sir.
So for guys out there carrying their wives to the airport, Will now has like a slight advantage when it comes to going to the airport. His wife has been telling him before they go, make sure you don't have your pocket knife, and I don't think he's ever going to get that again. So,
but I will forever make sure your gun is not in your purse.
I bet you will. I bet you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a housewife, I'm a mother, I'm a businesswoman, but I do travel, and I want to feel protected in my family.
Right.
And be prepared. So, hey, let's work together to show how you do this as a normal person, and you show them the steps from being at home to travel to getting to the airport, to getting on the plane with all of that stuff.
That'd be a good one. For those of y'all watching, that's our side. He's off camera today. But Mr. Matt Hill, he is. He said, plug my microphone in. I want to talk. So we really thank y'all for being with us today, making the trip over from Big Spring. Will works for SM Energy, right?
Yes, sir. SM Energy.
And they let you off today to come do this?
Yes, sir. My foreman's very lenient.
Well, that's great. That's
yes,
great.
No, probably not. They're probably making fun of us. I'll get an earful when I get back.
Oh, I bet you will.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Well, thank y'all very much for coming on. Is there anything else that you are required to add to your statement or that you would like to say to the public about this lesson learned?
No, I feel that this has been a great learning lesson for me, and it will not ever happen again. But I do appreciate y'all for letting us come on here and get this taken care of, so that way I am not in any trouble.
Well, we know this is not in your comfort zone, so thank you for coming and doing this. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you.
So go get your concealed carry. Don't carry a gun to the airport. And yeah, lesson learned. Thank y'all.
That would be pretty good.
I think there's probably a lot of gun themed presents in her future.
Yeah.
From the whole family. So,
yeah.
Even the ones in California. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
And y'all come out to the oil show. We'd love to have you.
Thank y'all.
We probably ought to do that again just for fun.